You've been praying. You're not here by accident. You didn't survive all that pain, all those storms, just to be left standing in the same place. Every delay was divine. Every detour was part of the design. What you thought was a setback was a setup. What felt like rejection was really redirection. You've been positioned, not punished. God has been working behind the scenes, orchestrating a blessing that's about to break through like a flood. This blessing won't just restore, it will overflow. It won't just answer your prayers, it will exceed them. Doors are about to open that no man can shut. Grace is about to cover what effort never could. You're about to walk into rooms you didn't even know were being prepared for you. Favor is going to find you in ways you didn't think were possible. The tables are turning, the season is shifting, and heaven is releasing something that will change the rest of your life. So hold your head high, shake the dust off discouragement, wipe the tears of waiting, and lift your faith, because the blessing that's coming is bigger than anything you imagine. It's not just breakthrough, it's overflow. It's not just victory, it's transformation. Get ready, God is about to blow your mind. Your waiting wasn't wasted. Every delay, every disappointment, and every detour wasn't a denial, it was preparation. You may not have seen it, you may not have understood it, but even in the silence, even in the stillness, God was moving. In the moments when you questioned if your prayers were heard, when you wondered if your faith was in vain, heaven was aligning something far greater than what you had in mind. What felt like an unanswered prayer was in fact a holy pause, a divine setup for something bigger than your current understanding. Sometimes the wait feels like punishment. It feels like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck. You see others get blessed, doors opening for people around you, and you start to wonder, what about me? Did God forget? But the truth is, God was never late. He was never distracted. He was never distant. He was preparing you for a moment that would require the strength you gained in the waiting. He was building endurance, stretching your character, deepening your faith. The process was painful, but it wasn't pointless. There were lessons in the delay, things you couldn't have learned any other way. You had to go through seasons of silence to learn how to trust when there were no signs. You had to face closed doors to discover that rejection can be protection. You had to sit in stillness to realize that your worth is not in your work, but in who you are as a child of God. Growth doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes growth looks like standing still and learning to be content in the waiting. And maybe, if you're honest, you were trying to force things before they were ready. You wanted it now, but God said not yet. Not because he was withholding, but because he was preparing. If he gave it to you then, it would have crushed you. But now you're stronger, wiser. You've been tested. You've been refined. What used to shake you no longer breaks you. That's how you know something has changed. That's how you know you're ready for the blessing. You see, God is not just interested in giving you the blessing. He's interested in making sure you can carry it. He doesn't want to bless you in a way that breaks you, so he uses time not to torment you, but to train you. You've been in a season of becoming. And while you were becoming, God was building. He was building the right opportunities, the right connections, the right timing. You couldn't see it, but every day you stayed faithful, something in the unseen was shifting in your favor. The waiting room of life is not a dead end. It's a classroom. It's a place where strength is born, where trust is deepened, and where faith is refined. And now, because you didn't quit, because you held on when it was hard, you're about to walk into something greater than what you prayed for. God is about to release what he's been preparing all along. Not just a blessing, but the blessing. The one that makes all the pain make sense, and the one that shows why you had to wait. And when it comes, it's going to happen fast. What was held back will be released. What was delayed will be delivered. What you thought was lost will come back multiplied. You're not behind, you're right on schedule. You haven't missed your moment. Your moment is about to find you. This blessing won't just be about material things. It will carry peace, clarity, purpose, and favor. It will answer questions you stopped asking. It will restore what life tried to take from you. And you'll realize in that moment that not 1 second was wasted. So don't resent the waiting. Don't curse the process. Thank God for it, because everything you went through was necessary. Every tear, every test, every quiet night of doubt, it all had purpose. God used it to grow you, to humble you, to anchor you in Him. And now you're ready, not just for the blessing, but for the responsibility and the influence that comes with it. He can trust you with more because you proved faithful with less. You're waiting. The season of waiting is coming to a close. The skies are shifting. The winds are changing. And heaven is about to deliver. This blessing will not only blow your mind, it will reveal why you had to wait in the first place. God didn't waste your waiting. He invested in it. And now it's time for the return. Breakthrough is closer than you think. It might not look like it right now. Everything around you may seem like it's falling apart, like the pressure is too much, like the obstacles are too high. But don't be fooled by what you see. What looks like the end is often the exact place where everything begins to change. That moment when you feel like you've got nothing left, when your strength is gone and your hope is running on fumes, that's usually where God steps in and does something only He can do. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. Sometimes we expect breakthrough to come wrapped in celebration, ease, or clarity. But often it comes in the form of chaos, confusion, or pain. It's in the tension, in the stretching, in the moments when nothing makes sense that God begins to shift things in the background. Right now, you might feel like you've hit a wall. You've tried everything. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've cried, you've waited, and still nothing seems to be moving. But walls don't mean stop. They often mean push. And the fact that it's been so hard lately might just be the sign that something's about to break loose. There's a reason the enemy has been fighting you so hard. He's not attacking your present. He's trying to prevent your future. He knows you're on the edge of something that will shift generations. He knows what God placed inside you is powerful, and if you ever fully step into it, nothing will be the same. That's why the pressure has intensified. That's why your mind has been under attack. That's why you've been tempted to quit. The closer you are to breakthrough, the louder the lies become. But don't listen to them. The lies are a signal that the truth is on its way. God hasn't brought you this far to leave you. Everything you've endured is connected to where He's taking you. This season is not your end. It's a bridge. It's a transition from where you were to where you're meant to be. But transitions are messy. They're uncomfortable. You're not who you used to be, but you're not quite who you're becoming either. You're in the middle, in between what was and what's next. And it's in this place that you have to dig your heels into faith, even when feelings try to pull you under. Don't underestimate the power of staying faithful. Don't discount the strength it takes to show up when nothing is working. That kind of obedience moves heaven. That kind of consistency stirs breakthrough. Even now, even when it looks like nothing is happening, God is moving. He's rearranging things. He's preparing people. He's opening doors you don't even know exist yet. And when it all comes together, you'll see that none of your effort was wasted. Every step, every sacrifice, every silent battle, it was all pushing you closer to the moment everything changes. You may not feel ready, but breakthrough doesn't wait on feelings. It responds to faith. It's not about how strong you are. It's about how willing you are to keep trusting, keep walking, keep speaking life over your situation, even when the evidence says otherwise. Keep expecting God to show up, because He will. He never fails. He never abandons. And He never starts something He doesn't intend to finish. What He promised you is still on the way. It's not too late. You haven't missed it. And you're not too far gone. What's coming is going to make you forget the nights you questioned your purpose. It's going to bring clarity where there's been confusion. It's going to bring peace where there's been chaos. And it's going to bring restoration where there's been loss. When breakthrough comes, it's not just about fixing a problem. It's about changing your perspective, renewing your strength, and reigniting your hope. It's about walking in a new level of freedom, a new level of confidence, and a new understanding of just how faithful God really is. So hold on a little longer. Don't let go now. You are closer than you've ever been. That shift you've been praying for, that change you've been crying for, it's on the other side of this moment. Keep pushing, keep believing, keep trusting, because breakthrough is not just a possibility. It's a promise, and it's closer than you think. You're being positioned for something greater. All the pain you've walked through, all the nights you cried in silence, all the disappointments that seemed to pile up one after another, they weren't random, they weren't meaningless, they were shaping you. God has been aligning people, places, and moments to launch you into something new, something higher, something far beyond what you've imagined. It can be hard to believe this when you're in the middle of the mess, when life feels heavy and you're carrying more questions than answers. It's easy to wonder if anything good could possibly come from what you've endured. But God doesn't waste pain. He uses it. He molds it. He turns it into fuel for your purpose. The very things that were meant to break you have been the tools God is using to build you. Every heartbreak, every setback, every delay was part of a divine arrangement to take you somewhere your own strength could never reach. There's a shift happening, even if you can't see it yet. While you've been surviving, God has been strategizing. While you've been waiting, God has been working. While you've been growing tired, God has been setting the stage. And soon, what's been happening behind the scenes is going to break into the open. The doors that seemed permanently closed are going to swing wide. The people you need in your next chapter are going to appear at exactly the right time. The resources, the clarity, the strength, it's all coming together. This isn't just about elevation, it's about transformation. You're not just being promoted, you're being prepared. God is not interested in putting you in a place you're not ready for. So the trials weren't meant to destroy you. They were designed to strengthen your character, to deepen your trust, and to grow your capacity. There's a calling on your life that's bigger than comfort. And sometimes, in order to walk into that calling, you have to be shaken out of the familiar and pushed into places that stretch your faith. You may have felt overlooked, forgotten, pushed to the background. But even in those hidden seasons, God was doing some of His best work in you. It's in the unseen places that your roots grow deep. It's in the silence that your identity becomes solid. And when God decides it's time to move, nothing can stop it. No mistake you've made can cancel it. No enemy can block it. No delay can deny it. Because when you're positioned by God, you're placed on a path that no human hand can interrupt. You're being prepared for rooms that require wisdom you wouldn't have without the pain. You're being shaped for influence that requires humility only experience can bring. You're being positioned to speak into lives, to lead, to create, to break cycles, not just for you, but for others connected to your assignment. This isn't just about your blessing, it's about your impact. And everything you've gone through is being woven into a story that will inspire hope in others, that will prove God's faithfulness, that will show what grace really looks like when it carries someone through fire and brings them out refined. So even though you may not feel ready, even though you may still have doubts, trust this: God is not finished with you. He is positioning you for something greater. The places you're about to walk into will make sense of the places you've had to walk through. The connections that are coming will be divine, purposeful, and right on time. And the version of you that emerges from this process will be stronger, clearer, and more aligned with God's plan than ever before. You're not where you were, and you're not yet where you're going, but you're on the way. Every step, even the ones that hurt, have moved you closer to destiny. Every season, even the dry ones, has pushed you deeper into purpose. And now heaven is setting things in motion. You're about to see why it had to be this way. You're about to realize that it wasn't punishment, it was positioning. God is getting ready to launch you into something greater, and this time, you'll be ready for it. The blessing will be bigger than you prayed for. You've been faithful. You stayed in the fight. even when you didn't have the strength to keep swinging. You've prayed with tears in your eyes, holding on to hope when everything around you said let go. You've whispered prayers at night when no one knew how heavy your heart really was. And now, after all the waiting, after all the testing, God is about to release something into your life that goes beyond your understanding. He's not just going to meet your needs. He's going to exceed every expectation you had. What's coming is more than you asked, more than you dreamed, more than you imagined. And sometimes we ask God for just enough to get by. We pray for survival, but He's planning overflow. We ask Him to fix what's broken, and He wants to give us something brand new. We limit our prayers to what we think is possible, but God's thinking in terms of the impossible. He's not restricted by your resources, your past, or your current situation. He operates on a level where one touch, one moment, one divine shift can change your entire life. And when it happens, you'll see that His vision for you has always been greater than what you saw for yourself. You might have prayed for a door to open, but God is preparing an entire house. You might have asked for healing in one area, but He's getting ready to restore your mind, body, soul, and spirit. You might have asked for a job, and He's getting ready to launch a purpose. You may have been praying for peace in the storm, but He's about to give you the kind of peace that follows you into every season. That's how He works. He doesn't give in pieces. He blesses in wholeness. You may have even stopped praying for certain things because you thought they were too far gone, too broken, too late. But just because you let go doesn't mean God did. Sometimes He waits until the moment when you least expect it, when your hands are empty, pure, undeserved, undeniable grace that only He could give. And the timing, it's perfect. Not always your timing, but always right. You see, God doesn't rush the process because He's more concerned with your growth than your comfort. He waits until your heart is in position to receive without pride, to carry the blessing without it crushing you, to appreciate the miracle because of the journey you took to get there. You'll look back and realize that what felt like delay was actually divine timing. He was protecting you from settling for less when He had more in store. The blessing won't just affect you. It will ripple into the lives of those around you. It will be a testimony. People who watched you struggle will see you rise. People who thought it was over for you will witness a comeback they never saw coming. And when they ask how it happened, all you'll be able to say is, God did it. Because it won't make sense on paper. It won't be something you can take credit for. That's the kind of blessing that's coming. Undeniable, unmistakable, and uncontainable. And when it comes, it will bring more than relief. It will bring revelation. You'll understand why certain doors had to close, why certain people had to leave, why certain seasons were so painful. You'll see how every puzzle piece fits together, and in that moment, it won't just be about what God gave you, it will be about who you've become. Stronger, wiser. So don't shrink your prayers to match your fear. Raise your faith to match His power. Don't settle for small when you serve a limitless God. The waiting hasn't been in vain. The pain hasn't been for nothing. The prayers you thought went unheard have been stored in heaven, waiting for the perfect moment to be answered in ways you didn't even imagine. What's coming will be bigger, better, and more beautiful than what you asked for, because that's who God is. He's not just the God of enough. He's the God of abundance, and the blessing that's about to come will prove it. This will be a season of overflow, not just survival. You've had seasons where you had to scrape by, where it felt like you were constantly holding your breath just trying to make it through one more day. You've been in places where you did what you had to do to survive, emotionally, spiritually, even financially. You've learned how to function with a broken heart, how to smile through pain, how to work with empty hands. But that chapter is coming to a close. God is declaring something new over your life. This won't be a season where you just barely get by. This will be a season where you thrive. You're going to feel the shift, not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. Where there was once pressure, there will be peace. Where there was scarcity, there will be supply. You've been walking through the wilderness for a long time, but the promised land is in sight. The struggle taught you how to trust, the waiting taught you how to listen, and the storms taught you how to stand. Now, all of that is making room for the season of overflow that's about to come into your life. Overflow doesn't just mean more stuff. It means more clarity, more direction, more peace, more joy, more purpose. It means no longer waking up dreading the day ahead, but rising with confidence and knowing that you're walking in what you were created for. You won't just survive your days. You won't have to force opportunities. God will begin to open doors so naturally it will feel like grace carrying you. This is the kind of season where your needs are not only met but exceeded, where your prayers are answered in ways that remind you God didn't forget, where everything that once drained you begins to be restored, where relationships are healed, finances turn around, health improves, and clarity returns. It's not a fantasy, it's a promise. And it's not coming because of your perfection. It's coming because of your perseverance. You stayed faithful. You kept going. You didn't give up when it would have been easier to walk away. You've graduated from the season of survival. You passed the test of keeping the faith when nothing made sense. You learned how to worship when there was nothing to celebrate. You learned how to stand when your strength was gone. And now you're ready for what God is about to pour out. Because overflow requires maturity. Overflow requires wisdom. Overflow requires someone who knows what it's like to have nothing and still believe in everything. You've been prepared not just to receive more, but to handle more. In this season, you'll begin to see how everything connects. The trials that almost broke you will suddenly look like stepping stones. The rejections that crushed your heart will reveal themselves as redirections. The things you lost will be returned in new form, and you'll realize you never really lost. You were being positioned. You'll walk with a new level of peace because you'll finally see what God was doing the whole time. He wasn't punishing you, He was preparing you. And now the preparation is turning into provision. Your story is about to shift. The narrative is changing. No more just surviving. No more barely getting through. No more wondering if you're enough. This is the time where you'll live out the truth that you are chosen, favored, and destined for more. You'll create, build, lead, and walk in rooms that once felt out of reach. You'll wake up with vision and go to bed with gratitude. You'll find yourself surrounded by opportunities that feel tailor-made for your gifts, your passion, and your calling. And as this overflow begins to pour into your life, it won't stop with you. It will spill into the lives of others. You'll bless people without even trying. You'll speak life without even realizing the impact you're making. Your overflow will become someone else's breakthrough. The way God blesses you will be a living testimony to those who watched you suffer, who saw you struggle, and now get to see you soar. This season is not about striving. It's about stepping into everything God has already prepared. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're right on time for the overflow. Get ready to live, not just to survive. Get ready to walk in favor, not just fight for hope. Faith is your activation key. It's not just a feeling or an idea. It's the very thing that unlocks what God wants to release in your life. Without faith, the doors stay closed. Not because God doesn't want to open them, but because He operates in the realm of belief. What you believe now, in this moment, in the middle of the unknown, determines how ready you are for the breakthrough that's coming. You can't wait to see it to believe it. You have to believe it to see it. That's the power of faith. It pulls what's invisible into the visible. It brings what's been promised into the present. It's easy to have faith when everything is working, when prayers are answered quickly, when doors open without resistance. But real faith is forged in the fire. It's strengthened in silence. It's proven in the waiting. Faith is when you look at the mountain and speak as if it's already moved. It's when you see the lack and declare abundance anyway. It's when your heart is breaking but you still say, God, I trust you. That kind of faith activates things. That kind of faith makes heaven respond. God responds to faith, not fear. He's not moved by panic. He's moved by trust. He's looking for people who will speak life even when they feel surrounded by death. People who will declare hope even when they're standing in disappointment. People who will praise him before the answer comes. That kind of belief prepares the atmosphere. It gets your spirit in alignment with what God is getting ready to do. Faith isn't just waiting, it's preparing. It's living like the promise is already on its way. If you've been praying but not expecting, it's time to shift. Time to stop hoping passively and start believing boldly. Speak life into your situation. Speak breakthrough over your family. Speak healing over your body. Speak clarity into your confusion. The words you say matter. The thoughts you entertain shape your reality. Faith is not just a spiritual exercise. It's a mindset. Use faith. You begin to see not just what is, but what could be. There's power in your declaration. What you speak in faith today builds the foundation for the miracle that's coming tomorrow. If you want to see overflow, speak as if you're already in it. If you want to walk in purpose, start calling yourself who God says you are. Stop speaking fear, doubt, and defeat. Stop rehearsing the worst-case scenarios. You're not powerless. You're not stuck. You're one act of bold belief away from stepping into something greater. Heaven is waiting to move, but it moves in response to faith. You don't have to understand how it will happen. You just have to believe that it will. Leave the details to God. Your job is not to figure it all out. It's to believe that nothing is impossible for him. When you step out in faith, even when the ground beneath you feels shaky, God meets you there. He strengthens what you don't have. He covers what you lack. And in that place of trust, miracles are born. Faith doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you move forward anyway. It means you pray even when the answer hasn't come. It means you keep showing up, keep serving, keep believing, even when nothing seems to be changing. So if you're in a season where everything feels uncertain, where the road ahead is unclear, this is your moment to lean into faith. Not weak faith, not faith filled with doubt, bold faith, confident faith. The kind of faith that says, I don't know how, but I know who. Because when your faith is in God, nothing is wasted, nothing is too far gone, and nothing is out of reach. You're closer than you think. The release is near, but how you believe now sets the tone for what's about to unfold. Don't just wait for it. Prepare for it. Talk like it's already done. Move like it's already yours. Praise like the answer has already arrived. Because when your faith is active, heaven responds. Faith is your key, and it's time to use it.